Hello YouTube, and welcome to my equipment and crafting guide for Final Fantasy Brave Exvius War of the Visions. The first part of this video is going to be focused on enhancing and awakening, and the second half of this video is going to be focused on the more advanced concepts in equipment, the crafting, trying to get your +5 if you plan to subject yourself to that crazy farm, but really any pluses that you're going for. That's going to be the second half of the video. So let's get going. There are 3 equipments in the game. You can have weapons, you can have armor, and you can have accessories. Each unit can equip 3 equipments altogether, although the final one has to be a Trustmaster, and it comes later on in your awakenings, along with the second one too. You start off with just one equipment you can use, and then you level up the character, they get a second one, and then as you awaken the character more, it gets that third Trustmaster. On those 3 equipments, you can put 1 weapon and 1 armor. Weirdly enough, you can put up to 3 accessories, so you can just go with no weapons, no armor, and all accessories if you chose to do that. Can happen. Maybe it's maybe a mage thing, something like that. Equipment proficiency, not really something I get. I don't know why they put this in. It's kind of like so simplistic. Basically, if you've ever seen these red down arrows on a piece of equipment, it doesn't mean that it's taking anything away from you. It just means that you're not getting the max value out of the equipment. You're not getting the max stats because you don't have the proficiency. As you can see at the bottom, you start off with an E. You want to get to an A. How do you do that? You put the relevant equipment type on your unit, throw them into battle, off they go, becoming proficient. No worries there. Here are the equipment stats. Not going to get too into this. You can pause the video if you're not sure about one or two of them, you want to take a look. But these are pretty standard across role-playing games, so I don't think this is going to be anything too groundbreaking. I'm going to kind of move on from here. So now let's get into actually improving on your equipment. So when you go to improve on your equipment, first thing you're going to look to do is you're going to look to level up the equipment. That's a very straightforward process. You just feed it adamantite. The hammers are another way to enhance your equipment. But I will tell you, if you're a beginner and you're just starting off on your journey with equipment, I would recommend that you just save your hammers for now. You might not completely understand it right in a second, but essentially you want to make sure that your equipment is completely done with the crafting before you put any hammers on. And the same will go for seals as well. The way seals work is they are used to focus the stat increases that your equipment gets when you level it up. So why do you level up your equipment? You do it because when the equipment levels up, the stats on the equipment goes up. But how do the stats on the equipment go up? Well, a couple of the stats will go up a very small amount, and one of them will go up a large amount. But the one that goes up large will be randomly selected by the game. You have no control over that. In order to put the odds in your favor a bit, you use the seals. So if you want an attack equipment item, you want the equipment item to have a very high attack, you want it to get those attack level ups, you would give it attack seals. 1 seal for each level up, and that's going to increase the chance that the level up stat up, the big one, is going to be for attack instead of one of the other ones. Doesn't happen all the time, and to be honest, I don't know what the exact math is, but that's the idea behind it. Again, I would say with the seals, especially if you're a beginner, don't worry about it too much now. Don't really use them. Wait at least until you've gotten into some of your plus crafting before you decide to use seals or hammers. The adamantite you can find in the daily events, shops, or chocobo expeditions. Hammers can be found in the arena shop as arena rewards or limited time events like the Etri training and the secret training quest that we had recently. Awakening is similar to what you do with the units. So when you get an item to level 10, if you want to get it to level 11, you're going to have to awaken it, the first star. So this is where I think the majority of the equipment components come in. The secret books of awakening, if you've seen those, if you haven't used them yet, this is where they're going to start to come into play. Currently for my cat claws, I am stuck on my +5 cat claws due to a lack of black spirit sand. That's my bottleneck. The other components can just as likely be a bottleneck, so try to plan ahead. Figure out what you're going to want to build, look at what items are needed for it, and look for the items in the shop, look for them when you're out, when you're questing. Try not to be caught out when you go to craft it later on. The equipment types. So each equipment is of a certain type that you craft. So if you might craft a cat claw, you don't determine what equipment type it's going to be. It just randomly right now will become any type. That's the way the game is. That's the current state of the game. A vital cat claws is one that's going to have a highest max potential for HP. An assault cat claws is the one that's going to have the highest max potential for attack. As I said, right now in the game, it's a total randomness factor what your equipment that you craft is going to become. You don't have a choice in it. It can be one of three. When I believe it's going to happen in June, based on what I've heard in some other videos and streams for global, that it's going to come in June, I think, where they're going to have an update where you actually can select what the type is. And you're going to see soon that because of the crazy farm and the crazy amount of components that goes into trying to max out your equipment, this might be something that you consider holding off on a lot of your components to leverage. And we'll get into that. We'll get into that soon. Does that mean that you should just wait altogether? Let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm waiting to craft my +5, but I've already crafted up my +4 where the components are available. So I have a +4 on my cat claws. I have a +4 on my Ragnarok. Until the patch goes in, I will enjoy the +4s on my characters. I think there's a certain chance that you'll end up with the +4 you want by doing it this way. I think it should be about 2/3. Dismantling is an option, however, I really don't recommend it since you will lose the books used to awaken after level 20, which you'll see in the next couple of slides that it's not really something that you want to be doing. So let's get into the crafting though. This is probably what a lot of people came looking for. So equipment typically has plus levels from 1 to 5. And if you ever wondered what separates a plus item from its no plus counterparts, it's not too much really. It's not to say that it's not worth it, but it's probably not what you think. So it doesn't increase the stats. So the stats on a longsword with no plus versus a longsword with +5 is going to, they could theoretically be the same, right? The RNG factor is going to have all the items be a little different, but overall, on average, yeah, they're going to be about the same. What the plus item gives you is this passive ability that is an increase on some stats. So on a sword here, it's a slash attack. So in the example here, we see slash attack 2. What that means is you're going to get +2% damage on your slash attacks. The slash attack 15 that you get for a +5 is going to increase your damage with slashing attacks by 15%. So it's pretty good. It's worth it. It's well, I don't know if I should say, if I could say it's worth it. Depends on who you are. There's a lot that goes into it, so I'll let you decide if it's worth it. And you can even mention in the comments below if you think it's worth it. You let me know if you're going to go for your +5 or if you're just going to give yourself a break and maybe just +3 or +4 it up for some of your items. So crafting a +1, you will need the base components. So for every crafting that we do with these, with the cat claws, the base components will be the same. You'll need a recipe. You'll need 5 Marlboro tentacles. You'll need 5 Void Crisp, 30 Black Silver Sands, and the children here. So a level 2, level 1, no plus cat claws. For +2, we're going to need the base components, and now we're going to do some enhancing. We're going to bring our +1s up to level 10. For the +3, now we're going to do enhancing, and we're also going to do some awakening. So we're going to do the base components, and we're going to do 2 +2s at level 20, right? Because to get them from level 10 to past level 10 to 11, we're going to need to awaken them, and that's going to cost us 30 books for each one. So this is where it starts to get real costly. With the +4, you are doing the base components and 2 +3s that are level 30, costing you 100 books. And with the +5, of course, you're doing the +4s that are level 40. And altogether, when it's all said and done, you have just crafted a tremendous amount of things in order to get to that +5. So overall, what's the damage? This is probably a good thing to know, right? What do I need altogether? So you can see here that in order to craft a +5, all together for the books, depending on what type it is, if it's rare, SR, MR, or ultra rare, but let's face it, you're probably doing MRs and URs, right? You're looking at 1125 on the MRs, fully awakened, for the +5, and for the UR, so the Crimson Blade that'll be coming out with the tower. I'm not sure what else can reasonably be UR'd up. What URs can be brought up at that level right now, but 1,725. I think I have about 1,200 Greatsword books from the training quest, so even when that comes out, I don't believe that I will be getting a +5 on that. So I'm going to place a link in the description below where I pulled these numbers from. It's a really great spreadsheet. I'm not so sure who created the spreadsheet, but I thank you for it. I got a lot of information out of it, and I hope that you'll take a look at it as well. That's where I got these numbers from, and I use it a lot in my analysis. So good luck out there with your equipment. If you liked the video, if it helped you out, please like it. Please give it a thumbs up, and comment below if you're planning to hold off for the June update in order to create your +5, or if you're going to go ahead and roll the dice and see what happens. And if you roll the dice, definitely comment and let me know if you got it. All right, good luck out there.